A final word now on impeachment. So, was Senator Romney courageous to vote to remove President Trump? I am guessing that your answer to that is determined by your view of President Trump. But you know, there is a simpler, easier kind of courage demonstrated by both Democrats and Republicans, people for and against impeachment and removal. It's a kind of courage that honestly is so basic, it probably isn't even courage at all. But we're going to call it basic courage for the sake of this discussion. Hundreds of Democrats and Republicans in Congress faced that central question of whether President Trump did something wrong, and they showed the basic courage to directly answer that question for voters. Colorado's Republican Congressman Ken Buck decided that it was fine for the president to ask a foreign power to investigate a political rival, and Buck directly said so. Colorado's Democratic Senator Michael Bennet decided that what the president did was not fine, and Bennet directly said so. But the whole impeachment trial has now come and gone without Senator Cory Gardner ever coming up with the basic courage to directly answer that question.